Cooking right here. Look at the egg. Just gonna add the egg right there. Go ahead and allow that to cook. Come in a little bit close, you can see that. So I'm cooking the egg in oil right here. I'm gonna add a little bit of spices to it. Let's see what I can add to it. I'm gonna add a little bit of ginger. Add a little bit of ginger to it. Oh, it's kind of flaming, huh? Getting hot. Add a little bit of ginger, a little bit of garlic. Good morning, everyone. Making some breakfast all morning. Absolute goodness. So I got the egg in here. I'm just gonna let that cook a little bit. Let it scramble. Right here, just toss a little bit, let it cook a little bit. And I'm gonna add some vegetables in here. I wanna be eating a little bit healthy today, so I'm gonna add some vegetables in here. So I have the egg going on. I'm gonna add a little bit of celery. All right, got some celery going on in here. Good morning. A little bit of onion. And don't forget a little bit of garlic. Absolute goodness. Add a little bit of garlic to the flavoration. And you know what I'm going to add to this? I want to add a little bit of pepper flakes for a little bit of Spice Nation. So add a little bit of pepper flakes. OG subs up in here. Try hard, OJ. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Absolute goodness. So I have some Spice Nation going on in there. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. Add a little pepper. And don't forget some salt. I'm going to add salt to this, just this for this morning. Add a little bit of salt going on in here. Gonna be cooking all morning. I'm about to have my coffee. Got a lot of recipes going on this morning. So I have the egg in here. So what I'm gonna do right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this. Turn the flame up a little bit higher. And I'm gonna allow the onion to cook a little bit. Absolute goodness. Add that in here. Let that fry. So it looks like a scrambled egg nation going on right here, but this is actually going to be fried rice. All right, so got this going on. All right, just let this fry just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to add some rice to this. Let me get a sip of my coffee going on right here. The sun's starting to come out. Beautiful morning, beautiful Thursday morning. Absolute goodness. So let this fry right here. Yep, fried rice. 100% all-American fried rice, Kikyo. Absolute goodness. So I got that going on right here. I'm gonna add a little bit of rice to this right here. Fried rice for breakfast, absolutely. So I'm gonna add a little bit of rice to this. Add a little bit of rice to this. Get that going on in there. I'm just gonna let this fry. Now the secret with fried rice is butter, because it adds a nice toastation to it. American fried rice. Is there any other type of fried rice? I don't think so. Absolute goodness. Now the secret to authentic fried rice is throw some butter in there. And that's going to give it a nice toasteration going on in the mixation. So I have that in there. Let me get another sip of this coffee right here. So once this is in here, I'm going to add a little bit of soya sauce. A little bit of soya sauce. Now the secret to the great fried rice, really good fried rice, is pepperoni. All right, pepperoni. That is the secret to great fried rice. So you're gonna throw a little bit of pepperoni in there, like that. Maybe a little bit more soya sauce. Why not put a little bit of garlic in there? All right, absolute goodness. So I got that going on here. I want to get the butter to start to melt right. So I'm going to spread this right here and get the butter down in here so it can start to melt right. And this is going to add to the toastation. It's got the butter in there. All right, so I got this going right here. So I'm going to be cooking, what is this, Asian, Italian, American fried rice? No, this is authentic fried rice. There's only one. There is no nationality. This is the original fried rice. It was made with pepperoni. Absolute goodness. So got that pepperoni. Maybe add a little bit more pepperoni in here. Throw her in there. Just going to go ahead and toss this up. I'm going to turn the flame up. Now, the purpose of turning the flame up is to get the rice to be toast-rated. If you ever go to any of the great fried rice restaurants, you'll notice that it has a slight toasteration to the rice. And they do that by adding butter. All right, so I got that in there. And I just want to get the rice mixed-rated with the soy sauce and the garlic so the flavoration can travel in. Exactly, I'm turning up the heat. So I got this right here. And I'm just gonna let this fry a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm gonna start prepping for the next meal. I'm meal prepping for the weekend. All right, so I'm gonna be making several things. Next dish I'm gonna have up after this is some ramen noodles with a twist to it. All right, so ramen noodles with a twist to it. All right, so I have that going on. Go ahead and get the ramen noodles, pull them out. Absolute goodness. Needs more soy sauce. You know what? I'm going to add more soy sauce to it. Out of request, I'm going to add a little bit more soy sauce to it. And maybe a couple more pepperoni. Add a little bit more pepperoni to it. Absolute goodness. So it's fritating on underneath it. Have to turn the heat up a little bit high to get that going on. A little bit of sip of my... Yeah, the soy sauce really did it. It's starting to look beautiful, right? Thanks a lot. So I have that in there. Have another sip of my coffee. This is my coffee that I'm having for breakfast. Right there. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna get this fried up a little bit. And then see, look at this. Look at the toastation on this. Fresh ginger. I have fresh ginger. I already added some fresh ginger. Look at that. Fresh ginger. It's toasting nicely. Absolute goodness. Look at that. Toasting nicely. Look at that. Yum is correct. Absolute goodness. Yeah, this is the breakfast of champions right here. Look at the pepperoni in here. Look at the pepperoni. The egg is already in there. Do you see the egg? Look at that. The egg, look, the egg is in there. This is the breakfast of champions. So have that. And see how the rice, how it has a little bit of brownation to it. I'm just gonna do this. Now this is the secret right here. Look at that. Spread the love like this. When you spread the love like this, you get more surface area to be saturated right there. And so you can let this, and you just let this sit. Now you just let this sit for a little bit, and it starts to toast rate. I'm gonna flip it in about like 10, 15, or 20 seconds. I'm gonna show you the toasteration that I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you the toasteration. All right, so coming up here, look at the pepperoni. The pepperoni is starting to sweat the flavor. That's what you want. The pepperoni, see how it's, look at it. See it's starting to sweat a little bit? That's the flavoration that's dripping down into the rice. Now I'm gonna show you how it toasterated. I'm just gonna flip it up and show you the toasteration of the rice. in about 5 or 7 seconds. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip this up. It's been 5 or 7 seconds. And I'm gonna show you how it toast rates. Now you wanna do this whenever you're making fried rice. Remember, butter is the key. Butter is the key to get it toast rated properly. So I'm gonna flip this, I'm gonna show you. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. This is the toasteration that I'm talking about. That's it. You see the toasteration. That comes from the butter. It gives a nice, you don't want it to toast rate too much, because if it toast rates too much, it'll be too hard, too crunchy, and it'll be even like eating potato chips. We don't want that. So this is done right here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the fire. I'm gonna go ahead and make a bowl before I pack this up. All right, so look at this. I'm gonna show you what this looks like. It's nice and toast rated. If you want it more toast rated, just leave it on here. Remember the method I told you? Flatten it out and let it toast rate more. Absolute goodness. Look at this. Get a little bit. Look at that. Doesn't that look? Come up to the screen. Come up the screen. Smell that. Doesn't that smell good? Look at the pepperoni. Look at the toast rated rice. Look at the onion. Look at the celery. Come up to the screen. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Needs pork belly and hoisin sauce. I don't have any pork belly, don't have any hoisin sauce, but I do have pepperoni. And I'm sure there's some sort of pork belly in pepperoni, because you know what? Everything's in pepperoni. So this is it right here. It smells like a phone. You're not smelling correctly. If you smell a phone screen, you're not smelling your phone correctly. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. I'm just going to start to store it. And then I'm going to get started on my next dish, which is a new kind of ramen. All right, absolute goodness. All right, so let's go ahead and put this away. I have my pot ready for the ramen. I'm gonna go ahead and put this over here. Put the ramen. Gonna make some adjustments going on right here. Go ahead and piece of celery. Go ahead and get this going. Come up here so you can get a better look at what's going on right here. All right, so right here, I am going to be cooking some ramen noodles. Absolute goodness. Gonna get the pot started right here. And so the flavor that I'm gonna be using of the day is called chicken. All right, this is a ramen noodle soup. All right, eats a piece of pepperoni. Absolute goodness. Here's the piece of the pepperoni that I was talking about right here. See how it's sweated and the flavoration just went into the rice? That's what you're looking for when you're cooking some fried rice. That was the last meal. I'm gonna show you the bowl right quick while the water is boiling for the ramen noodles. JD Power is in the house. Absolute goodness. And look at this. Look at the pepperoni. Look at the onion, the celery, and the toaster-rated rice. This is what I was talking about. If you come up close to the screen, smell it. Okay, now that you smell it, all right, look at the toasteration. Absolute goodness. Absolute goodness. All right, so the water's starting to boil. Now, what I like to do with the water while it's boiling, I like to add a little bit of flavoration right away, especially when it comes to ginger. All right, you want the ginger to start to sweaterate into the pot. It releases a lot of flavoration, and maybe a little piece of garlic right now. It adds to the flavoration to what you want. All right, so let me get over here. I want to get in here so you can actually see what's going on. Zoom in a little bit. See, look at that. So the ginger is in there. Gonna get my spoon and just stir it up a little bit. So I got the ginger going on right here. Absolute goodness. So I have that in there. And if you want, you can add something like onion. If you really want to get the flavoration going right away, add some onion, especially if you don't like the texturation of raw onion. Put it in now. All right, put it in now. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to the water. Absolute goodness. All right, so I have that going on right now. So it's going to take a second. It's almost boiling right here. This stove right here that I'm using really heats up fast. Let's go ahead and stir this up. Oh, this is going to be great. The flavoration. Have I ever had? What is that? I've never had that before. There we go right here. Look at that. So you have the onion. And this is making a stock right here. Not a laughing stock, but a ramen stock. All right, so you have that in there. And as you know, I like to add my flavoration pack immediately with a capital E. All right. So right here, I'm going to add the flavoration to this. Now, adding the flavoration in the beginning allows the flavor to be dispersed in the water. You hear that? It's starting to boil right there. Look at that. Look at that. MSG. I'm not familiar with that acronym. I'm familiar with LOL, LMAO. All right, so that's about to boil. Now, what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to add ramen. Top ramen has no MSG. How can you be so sure? I'm going to add a little bit of this in here. Now, this is a secret, all right? This is a secret that they don't tell you in school. To add a little bit of oil to the water. All right, so right here, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to the water. This is going to add a tremendous amount of flavoration with the flavor pack that's already in there. So this is starting to boil. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add an egg with a capital E. All right. So I have an egg in there. So all of this is boiling right here. The flavoration is being immersed inside of the egg. All right, so that's boiling. And what I'm going to do now, you know what? I'm going to add the ramen noodles. Now, some people like to break their ramen noodles. I, however, don't like to break the ramen noodles. I keep it straight. Turn the stove down just slightly. The egg is in there cooking. Now, look at this. I'm going to add the block of ramen noodle in there. All right, absolute goodness. So got that going. So it's going to start to boil again. Well, that's boiling again. I'm getting ready for the next meal. I'm going to be making eggs with a twist to it. I'm going to be having eggs, scrambled egg omelet with pepperoni. I'm going to be making pepperoni omelet. Absolute goodness. While this is boiling in here, I'm going to go ahead and stir this up. I'm going to flip this, pull out my thongs. It's cooking kind of fast. I need to turn the eye down just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and flip this. Make sure that block of ramen noodle gets cooked pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl. Everything prepared for my omelet. Or as the French say, the omelet. Absolute goodness. So let me get that ready right here. So it's boiling nicely. Getting my eggs prepared, getting my eggs out here. So there's going to be a 3-egg omelet. All right. For all of you who don't know how to make an omelet, today's your lucky day. You know why? Because I'm going to show you how to make an omelet. Or as the French say, omelet. Absolute goodness. All right. Going to get some cheese going on here. This is going to be nice. It's going to be a nice meal that you're going to be having today. Absolute goodness. Get some all-American cheese because I only cook all-American food. Have that going on here. Check up on this. It's cooking nicely. Can you smell it? Come up to the screen. Look at that. Look at the egg. You tried making an omelet before, but it burned and it tasted bland. Well, this is your lucky day because you're going to learn how to make a real omelet like a chef does. Look at that. The ramen noodles are almost cooked to al dente. Right there. Just going to get this in here. And the egg is in here. Oh, my goodness. Absolute goodness. So this is going on. And I'm going to get my bowl prepared. This is going to be some good stuff right here. Going to get my bowl prepared. All right, so it should be done. I'm going to turn the fire off. And then I'm going to get my bowl. zoom out a little bit so let's see what's going on right here. Gonna get my bowl. Look at that. Look at that. Absolute goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the ramen noodles inside of my bowl. And I like to have it dripped over the side right here for decorative purposes. Look at that egg. Look at the egg. Come up to the screen, smell that egg. Gonna go ahead and put the egg in there. All right, and then I'm gonna get my spoon. Where's my spoon at? Spoon, and I'm gonna spoon up some of the vegetables on here because I wanna be healthy. I wanna get some of the ginger in there. A mug, a bowl is subjective, okay? All right, so I have this in here. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna show you in a second. I'm almost there. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come up to the screen, smell this. Smell that. The egg, the onion, the ginger, the ramen noodles. Absolute goodness. All right, I'm gonna put this to the side. And then I'm gonna get started on my 3-egg omelet, as the French say. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the omelet pan down right here. Get this broth right here. Get the omelet. Go ahead and turn the pan on. Get this going. All right, so while that's going on right here, I'm gonna go ahead and get my bowl ready. Get my bowl ready. And I'm gonna go ahead and scramble up the eggs. It's gonna be a 3-egg omelet. Three-egg omelet. How many is that? 1, 2, all right, 3 eggs. And then I'm gonna scramble them up a little bit. In here. Scramble it up a little bit. It takes about a minute to do this. Make sure you get it nice and mixturated. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper to it. The pan's heating up. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter to it. Now, I use butter because it adds a nice toasteration to it. Some people don't like the toasteration, but I, however, enjoy the toasteration that butter can give. You have to be careful with it though, because you don't want it to over brown, right? So I'm gonna, whoa, what happened there? All right, so add a little bit of butter to this. It cooks fast, you gotta be quick. So put it in there so don't over brown, right? Turn down the fire. I'm gonna go ahead and add the egg to it. Look at that. You have to be careful with this because this stove can overcook the egg. So I'm gonna have the egg right here. Now, the secret with making an omelet, is to get the egg cooked properly. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. A, you can use a spoon. B, you can use a bigger spoon. All right? So, what I do is, like with the egg, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this inwards and let the juice, egg juice, absolutely wake up this early, cooking, absolute goodness. Go ahead and get the egg down there. Look at what I'm doing right here. So I'm getting the egg, I'm letting it cook. I'm letting the juice drip to the sides. Right here. Let it cook evenly. Well, like what I like to do with this is a little bit of salt to this. And a little bit of pepper. Look at that. I'm gonna get in close so you can see the pepper. Get in close so you can see the pepper going on right here. Look at the pepper flakes right there. All right, so it's cooking nicely. Now you don't want it to overcook. So what I like to do is just check the underneath it a little bit to see how well it's cooking, to see if it's toasterating or not. And then you want to test it a little bit by taking your spatula and lifting it up to see if they'll break. If it doesn't break, you're in good shape. I like to shake it like this. Now, this shaking doesn't really do anything, but it looks like I know what I'm doing when I do this because it looks kind of cool. See that? You might want to try to practice this before you have an egg in here, and only do this when people are watching because it doesn't really do anything. It just looks really impressive. All right, so I have this in here. Now I'm going to try to flip the egg. Now, this is the difficult part, all right? You might have to practice a couple of times. I try to get the spatula underneath, and then I raise it up and I flip it and use the spatula to assist myself. All right, so I'm going to flip it. 1, 2, 3. Look, absolute goodness. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to turn the flame down quite a bit. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put some pepperoni right here. Look at the pepperoni. Absolute goodness. Let me zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing right here. Look at the pepperoni. Then I'm going to get some 100% all American cheese. Going to go like this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that cheese. Look at that cheese. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Cheese. Now I'm going to let it cook on this side just for a couple more seconds. All right. Maybe add a little bit of more pepperoni. Add that right there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's looking good right here. So I'm getting prepped up. I'm going to have like some fried ramen noodles pretty quick. So I'm going to do some prep work back here to get the fried ramen noodles ready. This is going to be a good dish right here. Fried ramen noodles for breakfast. You're going to want to treat your entire family to this. When you have guests coming over for Thanksgiving, they're going to be like, where's the turkey? You're going to be like, no, there's no turkey. We have fried ramen noodles today. All right, this is a recipe that you're going to save for those special occasions. All right, get that prepped open. All right, so back to the omelet right here. I'm going to take this. I want to put a little bit more pepper on here. A little bit more pepper. Look at that. Before I close it, come up to the screen and smell the pepper and the pepperoni. Come up, look, smell this. Look at that. Look at the pepper flakes on here. Look at the pepperoni. Look at the all-American, capital E, cheese right there. Look at the toasteration that only the butter can do to an egg. Remember I was talking about the egg and how the butter can toasterate it. This is what I'm talking about. This right here, look at the toasteration on the egg. That brings out a lot of flavoration. If I were to add garlic to this, you'd be pretty impressed. Are you still smelling the screen? Look at the pepperoni, the cheese, zoom out. Now I'm going to do last but not least, I am going to close the omelet. All right, so you can take this and you're just going to flip it halfway like that. Look at that. Look at that. Now, doing this is like a blanket, all right? And it will allow the cheese to melterate. It'll allow the cheese to melterate and become gooey. And I'm going to show you a second. I'm going to get my plate ready for this. Get my plate ready for this. All right, going to go ahead and get this. Put this right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the pepper here. I'm going to cut it open so you can see what I'm talking about, just so you can see the scope of what I'm dealing with right here. Go in right here. I'm going to show you the melted cheese in 1 second. I'm going to open this up. Gonna open this up right here, go inside right here, cut this open right here. You're getting closer so you can see the full scope of what's going on. Gonna get this, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the pepperoni. Look at the melted, gooey, all-American cheese right here. Absolute goodness. Right here. Look at the cheese. Smelling good, smelling great. This is better than a steak. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Now let's get started. I'm gonna cook another omelet while the fried ramen noodles is being prepped. I'm gonna go ahead and cook another omelet. This is gonna be a little bit different from the last one. It's gonna be good. And I'm gonna come over here, put this down right there. Absolute goodness. All right. So I'm gonna turn on this stove really quick, but first I'm gonna go ahead and make my eggs. All right, so I'm gonna scramble these eggs. This is gonna be a 2-egg omelet. You know, I like to play around with numbers. Last time was 3, this one is 2. Maybe next one, I'm gonna show you how to do a 1-egg omelet. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Alex is in the house. All right, so scramble this one up. What's going on? An egg omelet is going on. Actually, I'm not going to make an omelet for this one. This one is going to be a cheese and vegetable scramble with a little bit of lime. Absolute goodness. Or better yet, this is going to be a marinara scramble. Even better. All right, so I have this going on. Go ahead and turn the fire on. So I have the fire going on right here. I'm just going to go ahead and get everything. You know what? I'm going to even mix it up a little bit more. This is going to be an Oreo omelet. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm going to have this going on right here. Allow the pan to heat up. Going to get some butter in this one again. Go ahead and get some butter and throw it in there like that. Go ahead and get this going on really quick. An Oreo omelet. Absolute goodness. So get the butter going on here in the pan. Absolute goodness. So once this is heating up, I'm not going to toasterate this one as much as I did the last one. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Got that going in there. I might even do a hash brown scramble. Let me get this potato ready. I'm going to do a hash brown scramble in a minute. Go ahead. Turn this flame down a little bit. Don't want it to cook too much. Hash brown scramble. Go ahead and cook a potato a little bit in the microwave. And get the ramen noodles prepared. So that's cooking nicely. All right, so I got this in here. I'm going to take the egg and do what I did last time. Scoot a little bit and allow the egg juice to flip. I'm going to do my little method right here to get this going. Add a little bit of pepper to it. Go ahead, add a little pepper to it. Absolute goodness. And for a little bit more spice in the life, I'm gonna put some red pepper flakes. That's right here, crushed red pepper flakes, stone meal pepper flakes. I'm gonna check on the ramen noodles back here. Get these ready. I'm gonna be having fried ramen noodles this morning as well. So let me go ahead and flip this. Let me go ahead and flip this. Remember, do that right there. It smells like it's toast rating too much. It's all right. It toasted rated too much. That's with adding butter. I'm gonna do a version with oil, and just so I can show you that the oil won't brownerate this as much. Too much toasteration, exactly. But it's okay because I'm adding Oreos to this. Look at the Oreos. Just break up the Oreos like that. You don't need many Oreos, just a few. You want to, just put that right there. Use one more Oreo. Absolute goodness. So once I have the Oreos in there, yes, Kyoko, this is authentic. Gonna add the Oreos in there. Look at it, come up to the screen. Smell this, smell the screen. So you have the Oreos. Look how well it's toast rated in there. Look how well the egg is toast rated. Pregnancy cravings in a nutshell. Okay. All right. Look at how it's toast rated right here. Let me see. Did I zoom in enough? And it complements the Oreo significantly. All right. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and flip this Oreo. I'm just going to go ahead and scan this right here. Now look at this. That's the Oreo. The Oreo, I can really start to smell. All right. You should definitely eat this. All right. So you have the Oreo in there. Let me go ahead and check on there. I'm going to let you look at this for a second. And then I am going to check on the ramen noodles to make sure that this as well is getting ready for the fried ramen noodles that I have going on in a little bit. So get that. Or strainer those. Absolute goodness. So I have this in here. So the Oreo's in here. This is a really good combination. You may be laughing right now, but I'm sure there's someone watching thinking that they're going to have this in their five-star restaurant sometime soon. All right, so I have this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to go ahead and flip this in here. Now, look at that. Look at the peppier flakes. Look at the peppier flakes, all right? The peppier flakes and the contrast with the Oreo inside. Let me get my plate again so you see what's going on. A lot of people try to emulate American cuisine all over the world. We own for our food our unique dishes. Say, for instance, pizza. Say, for instance, General Tso's chicken. The list just keeps on going on, all right? Hamburger, French toast. Americans, we are known for our creativeness in the culinary world, all right? Now look at that. Look at the Oreo. Look at the Oreo. Look at the peppier flakes. Come up to the screen. You can smell the Oreo. You can smell the peppier flakes. You can smell, look at this. Look at it. I'm just going to move it a little bit. The Oreo filling, it has a nice flavoration with the egg. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm going to put this to the side, and we're going to get started with the fried ramen noodles momentarily. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this pan a little bit right here. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this pan. And let me zoom out. Go ahead and turn it back on. All right, zoom out a little bit. Now, we're going to be having fried ramen noodles in here. Now, I'm going to use butter for this right here because it's going to add toasteration to the ramen noodles. So, have that in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of onion in here just for flavoration. M&Ms, no, I do not have M&Ms. But I'm sure it'd be really good with the omelet. All right, so add that in there. And I'm going to let the butter simmer all this down a little bit. Just going to go ahead and take this. The green onion, I actually have green onion. I'm going to use them momentarily, like within 1 minute. I'm going to be cooking all morning. So if you're running out of ideas on what to eat, on what to cook, don't worry. I have you taken care of this morning. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go ahead and fry this up like right here. Look at that. Get the onion. Start to smell really good. I'm trying not to use too many onion. Don't want the onion flavoration being overwhelming. Add a little bit of garlic. Just a couple of pieces. A little bit of garlic in here. Yeah, I feel like my cooking is very underrated. People are starting to catch on that people are starting to take my recipes. I'm starting to see my recipes across the entire YouTube platform. You know, I don't necessarily get credit for a lot of it, but people know. People have come from, what is that chef? Gordon. They've come from his channel and say, yeah, we think he's stealing your recipes. And I'm like, you know what? He can steal it. For me, it just makes me feel like, you know, my recipes are valued. All right, so this is brownerated a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the ramen noodles and put this in here. Now, with the butter, it's going to actually, the butter is going to toast rate the ramen noodles pretty well. All right, so I'm gonna just let this right here. Let me go ahead and get this and do some prep work on another recipe that I'm going to be doing this morning. All right, so I'm gonna come over here and I am going to go ahead and take this and look at this. Gonna spread the love a little bit for the ramen noodles. Sweet soy sauce. I don't have any sweet soy sauce, but I could. You know what I'm going to do just for you? I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce to this. And because it's not sweet, I'm going to add 100% all-American honey to it. All right, so I'm going to add honey to this. So it's not sweet soy sauce, but it's darn close. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to go ahead and toast rate this. Now look at the soy sauce, how it's browning the ramen noodles. All right, now these ramen noodles are cooked to al dente. All right, so I don't want them to overcook because overcooking would not be good. I'm going to go over here and prep up my next meal. I'm going to make another American dish. Going on over here. Make another American dish. Have another sip of coffee right here. So this is frying. Now look at it. It's toast rating perfectly. I might have to turn it down a little bit because it's toasting too perfectly. Nice and good. So this comes up right here. And so now with this dish right here, you may think, oh, it's just another pan full fried ramen noodles. But it gets better. Guess what I have going on for this right here? Flaming hot Cheetos. All right, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flaming hot Cheetos. Flaming hot Cheetos. I'm going to add this to it, a little bit right here. All right, just a little bit of the flaming hots. Now, you're going to want to turn the pan off because you don't want to ruin this meal. All right, so I'm going to turn it off, but I'm going to add a little bit of cheese on this side because I want to have a little bit of cheese on here. I like cheese. I'm a sucker for cheese. Here we go. Look at the cheese right there. It's going to melt a little bit with the heat of the pan. I don't want it to melt too much because this is not supposed to be a gooey recipe. Turn the flame up a little bit. Go ahead. All right. So I'm going to have this cheese melt a little bit. Add this in here right there. So this is 100% all-American Italian cheese. Mozzarella, low moisture, okay? Low moisture mozzarella. So I have that in here. I'm gonna heat up the pan just slightly so the cheese can begin to melt. And then I'm gonna mix in the flaming hot. Now, I'm gonna come in so you guys can smell it. I know you like smelling the food. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and allow you, I'm gonna bless you today with some of the smells that are going on right here. Now look at this. Now look at the flaming hots. I'm gonna scan this a little bit. So the flaming hots right here. I don't know if you're a fan of flaming hots. I don't know if some of my international viewers, I don't know if you've ever heard of flaming hot Cheetos, but it is a true American treat right here. All right, you see the cheese over there, the onion. Look at that onion just sitting there all by itself. All right, the onion and the cheese is starting to melt. So I'm gonna zoom out and I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up really quick. See the flame, see the cheese, look at the cheese. Let me show you the cheese that's melting right here. Right next, there's a lone flaming hot in there melting with the cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I'm just gonna go ahead and just mixerate all this up. Let's go ahead, mixerate all of this up right here. Absolute goodness. It's gonna be in a bundle of joy. Look at that. Nice and toast-rated. There's one flaming hot that just wants to stick up like right here. All right, zoom in really quick. So I'm gonna go get my bowl or plate ready for this one. This deserves to be eaten with a plate. If you have chopsticks, you use some chopsticks. Go ahead and get this going on right here. Go ahead and get some chopsticks and go ahead and serve this like this. Get that on there. Look at that absolute goodness, if you ask me. And then you have some more of the flaming hots that you can add to the side. Like that. Look at that. They just want to roll off. Look at that. Absolute goodness. This is amazing right here. This is amazing. All right, and look at this. And look at that. Look at this. All right, so you have the ramen noodles. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Now look at this. Look at the onion. Now look at how well it's toast-rated. Toast-rated right there. It's toast-rated nicely right there. Look at the flaming hots. They're still crunchy. Now the key is not to get the flaming hots soggy. You still want the flaming hots to be crunchy. And the onion's nice and toasted. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. All right, so now we are going to be making some hash browns with egg. All right, I just prep worked my the potato a little bit earlier. So now I'm going to get started with toasterating them inside of this. All right, I'm going to put this aside. Come up the screen, get one more whiff of this before I put this away, and we're going to get started on the hash browns. Absolute goodness. Mukbang. This right here, I can't eat and talk at the same time, so this is going to be a little bit later. It's going to be like, look at that. Absolute goodness right here. Turn off the stove. All right, so let's get started on the hash brown that I was talking about earlier. All right, so I'm going to put this away. Just let you look at this for a little bit while I get everything started. Zoom in really quick so you can enjoy this. All right, so that is this right here, the fried ramen noodle scramble. Gonna go ahead and get this right here going. We're gonna get the hash brown ready out here. It's not even done right here. Gotta cook it a little bit longer. Gonna go ahead and cook this. It's not even done. All right, so I'm gonna. All right, so while the potato's not done, I'm going to cook some more ramen noodles, some more fried ramen noodles. This is going to be more of an Italian flair with American touch to it. All right, so we're going to take this. We're going to move this away. I'm going to get my pan right here. And we're going to heat this up. Again, I'm going to use butter for this. I'm going to use butter for this. So this is going to have an Italian twist to it. All right, cook that up here. Let me go ahead and get my butter prepared. Throw some butter in there. Look at that. Let it get melterate. Got the butter in there. Add a little bit of extra butter. Now, with this recipe, I'm going to use a little bit of celery. People are like, why are you using celery? Because I like celery. Absolute goodness. So you got the celery in there. We got the celery in there. And then I am going to add a little bit of garlic for flavoration purposes. Add a little bit of fresh garlic. Now, the key with using fresh garlic, there really is no key. You just use it. You cut it up and then you apply it. Absolute goodness. I'm going to zoom in really quick so you can see all this. So that's the butter melting, and it's going to start to toasterate the celery. Absolute goodness. So we got the potato cooking over there. Absolute goodness. Just prep work for my next right here. I'm gonna let that toasterate just a little bit. Absolute goodness. Gonna toast it. Slide it a little bit. You don't want it to overcook. Let me turn down my flame. Prevent it from overcooking. All right, so I'm gonna add the ramen noodles to this right now. Where are my thongs at? Gonna add the ramen noodles. Let this cookerate. Add the ramen noodles. Smelling great. Gonna let that cook a little bit. I'm gonna add, I said this was gonna be Italian. I'm gonna stick to my word. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of marinara. Add a little bit of marinara to this right here. Now we add the marinara. I like to add it along the sides. Now doing this on the sides allow the water, see there's a little bit of extra moisturization down in there. All right, you have that in there. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of pepperoni in here. Now it's important that you add the pepperoni during the cooking and not after. Now the reason, like I said before with the previous meal that I was cooking, is you want the pepperoni to sweat the flavoration into the food. Now look at this pepperoni right here, all American pepperoni right here. Doesn't get much more American than this. Smell it, both sides, a lot of flavor. People love pepperoni, all right? There's so much flavoration to it in just one slice of this right here. All right, so I'm gonna add that to that. Add this to this, and then as it starts to cookerate a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing it. Like this. Look at this. Now, because I added the sauce in earlier, the flavoration is going to start to be absorbed by the noodles. Absolute goodness. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see the love. Look at the love. There's a lot of love in here right now. Going on right here. So this is about done. I'm gonna grab a little bit of cheese to go along with this. Gonna add a little bit of cheese to it. Take this piece of cheese. And what I'm going to do with the cheese is something very unprecedented. People, American chefs all around the world will be like, why'd you do that to the cheese? Now, take this method. I'm putting the cheese directly on the pan. And I know a lot of you are shocked right now. They're like, this guy is nuts. He's putting cheese, all American cheese, directly on the pan. Now, there's a reason for that. It allows it to toasterate. And this is going to be even more of, look at this. I'm going to do something even extra. I'm going to put a second piece of cheese directly on the pan to toasterate it, okay? So I have that going on right here. Look at that. It started toasterating. And look at the cheese. It's going to start to bellow it up. Look at it. It's bubbling. Bubbling cheese, all American cheese. This is American fondue almost. Absolute goodness. So this is going to be bubbling, and I'm going to get started for my next meal. The next meal is going to really wow you. If you haven't been wowed yet, you're going to be really wowed to another level with the next recipe. Now look, it's starting to toasterate a little bit around the edges. You see that? Toasterating around the edges right there. Look at that, bubbling up. Look at that. Absolute goodness. And so once it starts to bubble up, it's starting to toasterate a little bit underneath it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually mixerate all of this up. So I'm going to go ahead, gun in here. I'm going to take the cheese. Look at that. Look how toasted it is. Before I mix it up, I want to show you this. You're going to be really impressed. Look at the cheese toasterated right there. All right. And so I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix all of this up. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look. All right. Excuse me for a second while I pat my own self on my back. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Let me go ahead and get my plate ready for this. I'm going to go ahead and get my plate ready. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Look at that pepperoni. It just doesn't want to leave. Come on, smell the pepperoni and smell the toasted cheese. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to scoop this up. And I'm going to, look at that. The cheese is melted. Look at that. Look at that. Look, absolute goodness. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. Pepperoni. Got to get the vegetables for all you health nuts out there. Make sure you get your vegetables that have the celery in there. Get a little bit more of this. Absolute goodness. Look at that. Look at that. I know some of you are at home right now wishing that you could have this plate in front of you right now. I don't blame you. I really do not blame you. All right, so I'm going to let you look at this while I'll prepare the next dish. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can be in a little bit of heaven right there. All right, so I'm going to prepare my next dish. The next dish is going to really wow you. It is going to really wow you. Like, I'm sorry if you are too wowed. Just make sure that you're not saying wow in front of a lot of people who are not watching this, because it's going to be like, wow. It's so early in the morning. Why are you so impressed? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to get started with the next one. Go ahead and turn this on. Get the pan heating up. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Well, this next dish is a fancier version of fried rice. All right, so I have that going on right here. All right, so we're going to turn this pan on. Going to get some butter going on here. All right. Get some butter in there. Let that start to melt right. This next dish is going to wow you, I promise you. All right, so wash a few dishes. I'm starting to dirty up a lot of dishes. Got to get these clean. Keep the show rolling. Absolute goodness. So the butter's going to start to melt. Let me go ahead and add some of the vegetables that are going to be in this particular dish. Again, this dish is a fried rice. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of ginger to this. A couple pieces of ginger, a couple of pieces of garlic. Zoom in on this a little bit. So that's the ginger and garlic starting to cook. All right, I can't find my scissors. You see? Don't know where they are. All right, so I'm just gonna use something else. All right, so I have all of this in here. Now I have some green onion. I'm gonna put some green onion in here. Got some green onion going on in here. Next, I'm gonna add a little bit of egg. It's gonna be 2 eggs in here. But first, before I add the egg, let me move around the butter a little bit. Gonna move around the butter. Absolute goodness. So I have that in here. So I'm gonna get some butter in here. And I'm gonna add some egg. Get one of those in here like that. So get the egg fryer rating really quick. Zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on. Just gonna let that cook. And you know what I have? I'm gonna do this for a little bit of flavoration. I have an extra pack of chicken flavor. Absolutely. Chicken flavor right here. All right, it says please tear along this line. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tear along this line to see if I can keep it along the line. Let's see if I'm talented enough to do that. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna open this up right here. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in here. Look at that, the flavoration from the ramen noodle packet. If you don't want to use a flavoration packet from your ramen noodles, you can always, the screen is black, you can't watch. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Is the screen still black? All right, here it goes. Someone says they can see. Alex says he can see. I don't know if it's someone's internet connection. The internet is acting funny these days. So I have this in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the egg and I'm just going to mix this up a little bit. Mix the egg in here. Remember, I have that flavoration packet from the ramen noodles going on in here. So there's a lot of flavoration in here, along with the garlic. And onion. The green onion. Look at that green onion. The lone piece of green onion sitting here. There's more green onion in here. There's one lone green onion right there. Absolute goodness. All right, so got that going in here. Zoom in a little bit. All right, so this is frying a little bit. And so I'm gonna go ahead and add some rice to this. Add a couple scoops of rice. Zoom out. Let me see right there. Absolute goodness. Gonna add a couple scoops of rice. Put another scoop right here. All right, so this is cooking in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of soy sauce to this. I'm not gonna add honey to this version right here. Not going to add honey to it, so I'm going to get a little bit of soy sauce. A little bit right here. Got a little bit of soy sauce in there, and add another piece of ginger for flavoration. It's not just any fried rice, all right? This is a specialty fried rice. All right. No, not honey, not to this one. This is not going to be a sweet recipe. This is nothing sweet about this recipe. All right, so I have the rice in here. I'm gonna go ahead and break it up, okay? So the key with fried rice, just in case some of you are watching, want to know how to make fried rice, don't use rice right after you cook it. You have to let it cool and solidify. You're getting close with the cheesy fried rice, but it's a little bit better than that. It's a little bit better than cheesy fried rice. You have no idea exactly. Someone's there who said use yesterday's rice for fried rice. Because if you use today's fried rice, if you use today's rice for today's fried rice, it's going to be musherated. Absolute goodness. So I have this in here. Let me turn up the flame right here because I wanted to get this cooking a little bit faster. Now I'm going to add a little bit of butter to it. Now I want this to start to toasterate a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Add that in there. So I have this in here. Let this butter melt, and I'm going to mix the rice in. You don't want to keep on moving around the rice too much, because when you move the rice around too much, it also breaks apart, and you want to keep it solidification as much as possible. But I want to get this butter in here, and I probably should have added the butter sooner, but I don't have a time machine to go back and correct that change. All right, so I'm going to get this in here, mix this butter in here, get it nice and mixerated in here. Nice, absolute goodness. So I have this in here. Now here's the twist. All right, the twist. You have never had fried rice like this before. I can guarantee that you have never had fried rice like this. Remember the Flamin' Hots? Fresh Flamin' Hots right here. You bet. I'm going to add Flaming Hots to this recipe. All right, so I'm going to have this. Just add the Flaming Hots around there, like just use sparingly. And meanwhile, the rice is going to be toasterating underneath. It's going to be toasterating underneath, so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Put that right there. Put the Flaming Hots right here, and just let it keep on toasterating underneath. And I'm going to add some All-American cheese to this. I bet some of you are like, how is this going to be so different? How is this going to be so good? Well, it's going to be All-American cheesy fried rice. Absolute goodness. Just going to go ahead and add some cheese to the mix. Keep it low. I want this to toast nicely. I'm going to go ahead. It's different because I have a little bit different spices in here. There's no celery in this one right here. Going to have that going. Got that in here. And then I am going to start to mixerate this in. But I want to get the cheese down in here. Now, the reason why I want to get the cheese down here, because I want it to be melted to perfection. So I'm going to get the cheese down in there. Get the cheese down in there. Let it melt to perfection right here. All right. And then I'm going to start to stir this in a second, but let it toast up a little bit. The next recipe I'm going to have is going to be All-American hash brown. A hash brown that you've never even heard of. All right, let me get this out here. I'm going to actually make some toast as well. Go ahead and get my toaster prepared. We're going to have an All-American breakfast with toast. You know when they say hash browns are toast? I'm like, why can't I have both? Well, today I'm gonna have both. You know, other days you may have only served hash browns or toast, but today I'm gonna have both. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my toast ready. I'm doing a little bit of meal prep for the next meal. Just got that going on right here. Put my bread away. Toasted on medium to medium high. Let's see, what is this? Toaster. Anyone know how to use a toaster? Absolute goodness. So you have this in here. I'm gonna go ahead and stir this up. Look at that. Look how nice fried it is right here. Gonna go ahead and get this going right here. Nice fried. Look at that. Look at that. Zoom in a little closer. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Nice and toasted, cheesy. Smells so good. Come up to the screen right here. Now look at the Flamin' Hots in there. They're starting to sweat off a little bit into the rice, making the rice look red. Absolute goodness. Look at that. Nice. That's some good stuff right here. There you have it. I'm going to go ahead and put this into a bowl. Now look how cheesy it is. Look how cheesy it is. Look at the Flaming Hots just sitting in there. Flaming Hots just sitting there waiting to be eaten. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl. I'm going to go ahead and scoop this up really quick. Look at that. A lot of meal prep for the weekend right here. The toast is ready. Did you hear that? It's ready for the next meal. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the Flaming Hots. Look at the cheese. Look at the egg. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. All right, so let's get started on the next meal. Go ahead and put this into the container. Into the container, and we're going to get ready for the next meal, which is an all-American classic hash browns. All right, go ahead, making a mess right here. Going to get started with the hash browns. Now, with this, I'm going to start off using a little bit of oil, but then I am going to add a little bit of butter. Now, the reason why I want to do that is because I want to get the hash browns nice and cooked, but I also want them brownerated. So now what I did right here was I got the potato. See the potato right here? I got a potato and I cooked it halfway in the microwave, and I'm gonna cook the rest of it here on the pan. So I'm gonna take this, I'm just gonna put this right here. And so while it's in there, I'm gonna take a sharp knife or a butter knife, and I'm going to go ahead and slice this up. Slice this open. Turn the flame down. I don't want it too hot. I'm going to slice it open right here. Look, and then expose it. Absolute goodness. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the knife, and I'm just going to open it up like this. Then I'm going to take some butter. I'm going to take some butter, all-American butter. Now, make sure you get butter and not margarine. Now, butter allows for toasteration of whatever you're cooking. All right, so I'm going to get some butter and put just a little bit of butter on the potato. All right, just like that. Now, when I do this, I'm going to actually flip the potato on the other side so it can begin to toasterate. So let me go ahead and get my spatula clean so I can flip it. So I have that in there. All right, so we're gonna take this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure the flame is up high. It's actually not even on. All right, so I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna flip this. But let me expose a little bit more of the potato. Expose a little bit more. The potato. Now what I'm doing is I'm breaking up a little bit of the potato as it heats up. All right, it's heating up pretty nicely. And so I'm gonna flip it. Let me grab something to drink. Thirsty. Absolute goodness. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. So I have that. And then I'm gonna flip this like that. Now look, this is the potato. It's gonna start to cook on the underside. Now the thing with cooking a potato like this is it allows me to cook eggs on the side. And you're probably like thinking, why are you gonna cook eggs on the side? Because I can. Absolute goodness. So I'm just gonna keep on turning this like this. And it's gonna toast on the bottom side, which is what I'm going for. So I'm gonna turn the flame up slightly. We'll turn the flame up slightly. Let that go. It's gonna start to toast really nice. I'm gonna show you in a little bit, but before we start show you that, I'm actually gonna start cooking the egg on the side. I'm gonna use a little bit of oil with the egg because I don't want the egg to toasterate like I did for the potato. So let me grab my oil. Let me go right here. Add a little bit of oil right there. This is gonna be 2 eggs with this. Let's zoom out so you can see a little bit more of it. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, put that in there. Absolute goodness. So you have 2 eggs with hash browns. Look at that. Cooking nicely. And in a second, we're gonna check up on the potato right here. The second, we're gonna check on the potato, make sure that it's nice. And you know, this is another secret. I have chili cheese Fritos right here. I'm gonna add this to the egg. Let me turn the flame down just a little bit. We're gonna add chili cheese to the egg. You might want to crush them. Add chili cheese to the egg like this. Adds a nice flavoration. And I think it's because chili cheese flavored corn chips has cumin in there, which really adds to the flavoration. Just gonna add a little bit more in here. And then I'm gonna flip the eggs because I like my eggs over easy as opposed to sunny side up. So I'm gonna take this, get my spatula ready. And we're gonna go ahead and come under here. And I'm gonna flip my eggs. Take this, flip it like that. I can smell the chili cheese from the Fritos. It's cooking really nicely. Got the chili cheese from the Fritos. Good morning. Good morning. Arizu, I think I said that right. Gonna go here and I'm going to flip that. Now look at that. This is nice. The chili cheese is in there. If you want to go ahead and pop some of the egg right there and let it drizzle out, go ahead and do this right here so you can see a little bit. Look at that. Drizzle out a little bit. Do this one right here. Look at that. Over easy. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to go over here, smell the chili cheese. And I'm going to go ahead and flip the hash brown so you can show you what. Look at that. Look how, you know what? Give me a second while I pat myself on the back. Look at the hash brown. Let me zoom in a little bit. Look at the hash brown. Look how nice and toasted it is. Now look at the egg and the chili cheese fries. It's smelling great. And you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use some of this spicy sauce. It's called this spicy sauce. I'm just going to go ahead. Let me try another time. The spicy sauce. Look how. Let me show you before I put the spicy sauce on here. Look how nice and toasted the potato is. How nice and toasted the potato is. Now look at the egg right here. The egg with the chili cheese Fritos. And I think my flame just went out. All right, now look at all this. So I'm going to put some of the spicy sauce on here. The chili cheese right here. Going to get some of the spicy. I'm just going to go like this. Look at that. The spicy sauce with the chili cheese. I might want to add a little bit more chili cheese Fritos onto this. I'm going to go ahead and take this and crush some of the chili cheese. Now, this is chili cheese Fritos. If you've never had this, try some of this as a nice flavoration. Great for adding to any dish. I'm going to add some of the chili cheese right on here. Absolute goodness. Now, that smells great. All right, so I'm going to get started. Let me go ahead and put this on a plate. All right, we're going to have the toast. I told you, whenever you go to a restaurant, they ask you hash browns or toast. Why not both? All right, so why not both? So we're going to go ahead and put the hash browns on here. Zoom out a little bit. Go ahead and put the hash browns on here. Look at that. Absolute goodness. And then I'm going to get the egg with the chili cheese. Egg, the chili cheese. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Gonna add chili cheese on there. Look at that. Look at this. I wish you could come up to the screen and, you know what? No matter what you're doing, if you're driving right now, watching this, pull over on the side of the road. Pull over the side of the road. If you're at work right now, go out and, I don't know, for a break or something. Tell your boss that whatever is needed can be done later. If you're on a Zoom call, pause the Zoom call and tell them that you are witnessing something amazing right now. Now, after you've done all that, come up to the screen, smell this. Smell this. Now look at the egg that's over easy with the spicy sauce, with the chili cheese Fritos. Look at that. Look at the spice on there. Okay. And right here. Look at that. And that is good. Look at the potato. Look at the toast. Remember I said hash brown and toast too. I'm going to go over the hash brown so you can see that. Look at the hash brown, nice and toasted. The egg, absolute goodness if you ask me. Absolute goodness. I'm going to cook one more dish for you, but I'm going to have to change some stuff out. I have to get a clean out this really quick. I'm going to change some stuff out. I've got to put a new can of gas. All right, so where did I do with it? All right, here. Absolute goodness. All right, so that's the meal right there. Look at that. The chili cheese. The chili cheese. I'm going to let you look at that while I get the gas ready. The chili cheese, the egg, the hash brown, the hash brown, the spicy sauce, the green onion. Love green onion. If you know me, I cook a lot with green onion all the time. All right, got that going on. All right, gonna change this out, and we're gonna get started on our next meal. All right, so change this out. We're gonna get started on the next meal. Put this to the side. Got the pan right there. All right, and we are gonna get started. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm gonna turn the pan on. Get this heated up. Now, this is gonna be Oreo fried rice. I don't know if you've ever heard of Oreo fried rice, but you're gonna want to watch and stay tuned for this. Oreo fried rice is a treat, you all. It is definitely a treat. This is something you're gonna start seeing restaurants all across the world after I make this. It's going to be bigger than big. Get the butter going on in here. It's gonna be bigger than big. It's gonna be something worth noting. Of course, we're gonna use the classic ingredients for fried rice. Get that butter in there. Get it nice and in there. Get a little bit of garlic in there. And some ginger. Ginger, key to fried rice. Now, I'm not going to add a lot of vegetables in here because this right here is a very unique dish that is I rarely cook this. This is only for special occasions like holidays, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, stuff like that I cook for this, like special events, all right? So you're going to want to stay tuned for this because you're going to learn something great that you can share. This is going to be the next thing that when we get out of this whole thing that we're going on in the world, this is going to be the next thing that you bring to your company potluck. I can guarantee on that, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up here. Get the garlic flavoration in here. And I'm going to go ahead and add some rice to this. Go ahead and add some rice. Boom. So I have the rice in here. I'm just going to go ahead and break this up. Go ahead and break this up right here. Look at that. Smells great. Right in there. All right, so you're going to cook this like you normally cook classic fried rice. But there's a twist to it. I'm going to be having Oreos in here. Look at this. 100% All-American Oreos. Oreo fried rice. You've never heard of it. This is something new. All right, so you want to stay tuned for this. Something new. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open this up right here. Get this going. All right, I'm going to have another Oreo dish going on after this. All right. It's going to be called Oreo ramen noodles. You've never heard of it. This is something new. Introducing this formula to the market now. I should get a patent. I'm going to do some prep work for it right now. Now, with this Oreo fried rice, it's going to have the best of both worlds, or many worlds. It's going to have sweet, salty, savory. Okay, sweet. It's going to be sweet, salty, savory. All right. So it's going to be a lot of things going on. It's going to be a mouthful. So I got to get this on here. And so now I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce. Add just a little bit of soy sauce. So added some soy sauce. And now I'm going to add a little bit of, drum roll, I'm going to add a little bit of Oreos. All right. So I'm going to take the Oreos. All right, you have the fried rice. You can smell the ginger. I'm going to take the Oreos. I'm going to crush the Oreos on top of that right here. Look at that. Just crush the Oreos and put them on top right here. Look at that. Absolute goodness. You have that in there. It's going to start to smell good. The Oreos are going to start to smell. It's going to surprise you. You're going to be like, what is going on? And I'll tell you what's going on. It's going to be absolute goodness. That's exactly what's going on. So I have that in there. Let me get this going on here. Prep working for the next meal. Get this. Prep working. So you have that in here. And so what I'm going to do with this right here is you have the Oreo right here. I'm going to clear some space because I want a little bit of more butter here because I want this to be nice and toasted. The sweet smelling in there. Look at that. Get that butter in there. Make sure it melts. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit of this. Look at that. So you look at the Oreo. Look at the Oreos. You smell that. Look at the butter here. All right. It's bubbling up right there. It's starting to melt. Now this is going to allow the rice to toasterate and as well as the Oreo to toasterate. The heat is going to allow the filling of the Oreo to permeate the rice, which is going to add a lot of flavoration to the entire dish. All right, so just going to let this melt a little bit more. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Just going to let this melt a little bit more. And then I'm going to mix all of this up. And we're going to add even more to it. I said sweet, spicy, savory. And we're going to add a little bit of heat to it. Absolute goodness. All right, so let me zoom out. Zoom out. And there's another twist to it. All right. What is fried rice without fried egg? It doesn't exist, right? So we're going to add a little bit of fried egg to it. Add a little bit of fried egg to it. Got the egg in there. It's going to start to fry a little bit. And you're going to want to mix the egg up because you want the egg to be cooked all the way. So you mix the egg up a little bit like this. Just kind of like frying it like that. And if you have any more of the seasoning, sometimes I like to use chicken flavor seasoning from the ramen noodles. I'm not going to add all of it, just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit to this. And then a little bit of lime, all right? So I'm going to add a little bit of lime. Add a little bit of lime. And what's food without cheese? All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of cheese to this. I'm going to go ahead and put this cheese right up on top right here. I can smell the lime start to cook. Actually, add a little bit more lime into it. So I have one more piece of lime. I'm just going to add this to it. So I have the egg in there. Zoom out so you can get a better scope of this. This looks like I'm zoomed in too much. So you have the Oreo in here. Let's go over it. You have the Oreo in here. You have the rice. You have the ramen noodle powder, chicken flavor. You have the cheese. You have the egg, which is almost cooked. You have some pepper on top. Now I'm going to start to mix this up right here. Absolute goodness. Here we go. Going to take this. Look at the cheese melting here. I'm going to go ahead and get that going right here. Now look at this. The Oreo's fritating. The rice is fritating. Go ahead and cook that in here, right here. Now look at this. Look at the Oreos in the rice right here. I can smell that with the garlic. A nice touch right here. Look at that. Now you're going to want to flip this and allow the other side of the rice to start to toast. All right, so you have that. Allow that to toast. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Smells great. Look at it, it's toasting right now. The egg, the flavoration. Got to give me a bowl. Give me a bowl going right here. I'm just going to allow that to toast. Meanwhile, I'm going to prep my next dish. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Prep work makes the dream work. So I have this going on right here. I'm just going to go ahead and flip this one more time. The cheese is in there. You can't see the cheese because the Oreo hides it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl ready. Turn the flame off right here. The bowl ready. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the Oreo fried rice, put it on my plate. Look at that. It smells like cake. All right, so I'm going to scoop this up. Scoop this up. Look at that. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Scoop the rest of this up, and then I'm going to add a little bit of spiceation to it. Look at the ginger, good flavoration. So let me move this. Made a little bit of mess on my stove right here. And move in right here. Look at that. Look at the egg. All right, we're going to get ready for the next meal. We'll do some prep work. Now look at that. Look at the egg. Look at the Oreo. Look at all that. And to top it off, I am going to put a little bit of spice on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of spicy stuff on here. Look at that. Absolute goodness. And some people like soy sauce. You can add a little bit of soy sauce on top. I'll let you look at this really quick while I prep up my next. Look at that. Just a mixture of the greatest foods on earth right there. You have the soy sauce, you have the spicy sauce, you have the Oreo, you have the cheese, you have the garlic, you have the, I didn't put onion on this one. This recipe did not call for onion. Look at the garlic. All right. Look at all that. All right. So I'm about to prep up for the next meal. Prep work for the next meal. This next meal is actually going to be really good. For all you cheese lovers who are out there, this next meal is for you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get the next meal going. While you keep on looking at that one really quick, I'm going to prepare the next meal. All right. Absolute goodness. All right, so I have this going on right here. All right, so let me go ahead and get the next meal out. Got the pan ready. We're going to heat this up. Going to heat the pan up. And this next meal is another fried ramen recipe. Another fried ramen. I know you guys are big. The big thing right now is fried ramen. All right, because for the longest time it was just regular ramen, but people got bored of that. They said we need something new, and so I'm here to deliver something new. All right, so this is the fried ramen with a twist. I'm gonna go ahead and heat this up. Turn my fire on. Now the key with this right here is cheese. Right here, I have all-American string cheese. Trying to keep it authentic. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up the string cheese. Open up the string cheese. Go ahead and get that melting a little bit. And all-American cheese. All right, so I have string cheese. have all American cheese in there. I'm going to get this melted. And then I'm also going to bring over my ramen to add it to the mix. But I need some more butter to get started with this. Need some more butter to get started with this. So I'm going to get the butter. Going to go ahead and fry this. Get the butter in here. Get that nice and melted right there. Absolute goodness. So I have the butter in here. And then I'm going to put the ramen noodles in the back. Just going to cook that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful is what you all are thinking out there. Look at that. So you got the cheese, you have the butter, and it's going to start to fry. I'm going to add a little bit of green onion to this. Add a little bit of green onion. Got that right here. I'm just going to cut up some green onion. It's good. If you don't have a knife, just use your hands or just tear some green onion. Put that right there. Absolute goodness. So you have the green onion. I'm going to add a little bit of spice. Just a little bit right here. I'll add a little bit more of that later. A little bit of soy sauce. And some of the flavoration packet. So once you have this, you're gonna mix it. I'm just gonna let the bottom toast a little bit. Let the cheese get nice and melted. I'm gonna let the cheese get nice and melted before I proceed with flipping it. Absolute goodness. All right, so that's nice and ready. We're gonna proceed with flipping it. So to mix that up, you get the juices in here. Now look at the cheese. Look how stretched out the cheese is. And we're going to combine this with the ramen noodles. It's nice and toasted right there. Look at that piece of cheese right there. Look at that. Nice and toasted right there. All right? Nice and toasted. So I'm going to get this. I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up. Nice and toasted right here. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Just keep on mixing it like this. Doesn't that look good? And you're going to get it into like a ball right here. So it's going to be nice and cheese, fried ramen noodles. Gonna get there in there and get this into a ball. And then once you have it like this, you're going to take a little bit more of the get this and put this like that. Turn off the flame. There you have it. I hope you all enjoyed cooking with me this morning, preparing food for the weekend. All right. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness.